Danny boy.
Hey, how's it going?
Dude, it is going great. How about yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good, man. Good. Excited to dive in here with you. And
All right.
just opening up your back end. Thanks for sending me the pack. And
Yeah, no problem.
you already watched the onboarding video, right?
Yes.
Dude, we're going to be cruising today, dude. How's your Monday going? You off to a hot start?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty slow at work today. I had to take this from my car. They don't like us to take like personal video calls in our office for like proprietary information, secrecy purposes, all that crazy stuff. So I had to come out here.
They're on to me, man. I was trying to get some automotive secrets out of you.
Right. All of them.
That's funny. All right, cool. So we'll kick off with this. So we got a Planet Fitness membership, which is great because they have everything. And then you train 5 days a week minimum. Perfect. So just some onboarding stuff for my own notes here in terms of customization. How many hours of sleep do we get usually, and how much did you get last night?
I got roughly 7. I started just putting everything on that app. I didn't know if I was supposed to, but figured get the habit going anyway. Last night it said 7 hours, 20 minutes. I would say closer to like 7, just depending, Normally I'd say it's anywhere between 6 and 7 as long as the kid's having a good night.
Right.
So, pretty consistently, yeah.
Okay, cool. What supplements do you currently take?
I don't really take anything other than I just do like protein powder in the morning with breakfast.
Cool. All right. I only have 4 recommendations.
Okay.
And it is vitamin D, especially in the wintertime, especially up by you. Once you're above, I want to say it's the 35th I believe once you're above the 35th parallel, no matter how much sun you get in between November and March, I could be totally wrong about this. You don't get any vitamin D. There's
You're probably right.
yeah, there's like some sort of a parallel. The other one that I recommend is creatine. It's the most tested supplement on the planet. Like, it helps with water retention, increasing ATP, muscular performance, building muscle. Like, can you build muscle without creatine? Absolutely, but you'll build a little more muscle with it. It'll also help. There's cognitive benefits from it. There is no harm. 5 milligrams a day, all you need, every day, 7 days a week. Okay. I always recommend the powdered greens, just because right now with the way that food, how processed it is, and also the lack of nutrients in our soil, for the most part, we have to supplement. So green drink is basically a multivitamin on steroids because it's a lot easier to digest. What you can't really get from greens is going to be like your vitamin D and stuff like that. So as long as you're eating a decent amount of red meat, you don't have to worry about iron. As long as you're eating 2 eggs minimum per day, you'll be good on vitamin A, vitamin K, things like that. And then the last one is magnesium glycine. So most people say, oh, take a magnesium supplement. Not all magnesium supplements are made the same. You want to make sure that you're taking magnesium glycine. The body tends to digest it the best, utilize it the best, and it has the best cognitive benefits while also good for not getting cramps, great for digestion. Overall, it's an incredible electrolyte. Okay?
Okay, cool.
Those are the only supplements that I recommend people take. Unless you were one of my clients also competing for a bodybuilding show, then I would have you do like blood work to see where your test levels are at. And, if we wanted to mess around with some fun extracurriculars. But that, I only have 2 clients that do that. And I don't really make recommendations on that. They kind of came to that own conclusion themselves. Right. So for the most part, this is the only supplementation that we like. You're way too young to even think about TRT. I know that this is like the new thing for people in their 20s and 30s. Like, oh, well, I have low test. It's like, let's just get your test levels as high as humanly possible. And then in your 40s, we'll worry about TRT. Because it can fuck you up big time. It's not great. So anyways, we don't have to worry about any of that. Any questions on supplementation? Anything along those lines?
Nope.
No, cut and dry. And supplements is all about just doing, it's like the minimal viable dose, MVD, right? Like what's the least amount of supplements I need to take to make sure I cover all my bases. That plus the diet that we're going to talk about, mainly whole foods, everything along those lines, you'll be good to go.
Cool.
Awesome. Just want to make sure we have everything all connected. Did we figured out MyFitnessPal and everything along those lines?
Yeah, it synced everything I put in for breakfast and lunch. So I'm assuming, yeah.
Love it. Of course, it's not pulling any of the data right now. So I'll have to try to set it up here. What we'll do, did you create a username with MyFitnessPal by any chance?
I've had one for a while and just haven't used it, so I connected that to it.
Perfect. In the meantime, just in case, sometimes these guys sometimes it just doesn't work. I'm seeing the macros and I'm seeing the calories, but I'm not seeing the food breakdown. Sometimes that changes. If you already had them, sometimes if you already had the MyFitnessPal app and you didn't download it using their link, like the signals get crossed or something like that. So in the meantime, just add me on MyFitnessPal as well. I just messaged you my username on the Trainerize app. So
cool.
You don't have to do that right now, but just eventually.
Okay.
Any sort of injuries, medications that we're taking?
The only thing, if you want to call it an injury, I've had 2 instances of severe piriformis tightness that I had to go and have PT done for. A lot of stretching, a lot of heat therapy, all that. But PT resolved it all completely.
Nice. Okay. So your hips were a little tight? All right.
Yeah.
Oh, how often are we stretching?
Every day.
Good. Okay. Good. Are you familiar with knees over toes guy by any chance?
Yeah.
Nice. I incorporate his foundations movements in everyone's program.
Okay, cool.
So everybody gets a KOT day, at least one.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I swear to God, dude, 4 years ago, man, I could barely squat. And now my ass hits my fucking heels with 285.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, saved my ass. So, and his stuff is just so good. And it's a different level of strength, I find. The amount of sturdiness that I feel when I'm hiking, when I'm running around the backyard with my daughter in my arms and we're chasing the dog. She's 26 pounds, man. She is not a small kid. And I'm running around and I have no worries about rolling an ankle. My knees feel super solid. I'm sturdy, and it's not going anywhere. So rebuild from the ground up always. All right, cool. So that's for the most part where we're at in terms of just initial recommendations in terms of the diet, macros, everything like that. Remember, foundations, this phase is where we're just going to get a sense of what you're already doing. Because what I don't want to do is slap a new program in your face. We try to 180 right off the rip. And it's like taking a rubber band and trying to expand it all. We pull it as hard as we can and then we let go. And then it snaps right back to what it used to do. And this is what happens with so many people, so many individuals with their diet. They just don't care about where they're at. They're like, oh, I'm going to be perfect now. And then it's the minute that they're not perfect, they then excuse everything else in their life. They're like, well, I didn't nail my breakfast, so I'm just going to say fuck it for lunch and dinner and let's go get donuts. That's what most people do. And that's why I kind of made the joke on the initial call, right? Everyone's cutting at breakfast and bulking by dinner.
Yeah.
Right? So the idea here is that we are now going to raise your floor. The way you win in this program is not by being perfect. The way you win in my program is by executing a different level of standards. So we have goals and we have standards. Goals are what we strive to do every single week. Standards is our minimum acceptable performance.
Right.
Before the 23rd of Monday, 23rd of October in 2023, I know you had good standards, right? I already go to the gym 5 days a week. That's great. Most guys, their standard is 0. it's acceptable for them not to go to the gym at all. So what we're going to make sure we do is we raise your standards in every area of your life. Because you may have high standards when it comes to the gym. Now we're going to raise the standards with your diet. So goals, a perfect week is called 7-7-2-1. 7 days of movement per week, 7 days of tracking everything that we eat and hitting our macros, attending both coaching calls, even if you just pop in on the Thursday Q&A just to say hi, and then drinking a gallon of water a day. You do that for 24 weeks in a row, dear God, you're going to look like a whole different human being and act like a whole different human being.
Right.
Now, we do not have standards of 0. Your new floor is 4-5-1-1. 4 days of working out a week minimum, because you can do that like no matter what.
Right.
Okay. 5 days of tracking and hitting your macros perfectly. 1 of the coaching calls per week, and then a gallon of water a day. I never lower the gallon of water because you should just be drinking a gallon of water a day anyway.
Right.
Like that is a standard that never goes away. And so what we're doing here is we're raising your standards so that way we're creating what I call a zone of progress. And this is the mindset shift. Progress is progress is progress is progress. If you have a week where you get 4-5-1-1, you win. You may not progress as much as if you did 7-7-2-1, but progress is progress is progress is progress. And if you string together 24 weeks in between that zone, you will achieve whatever you want to achieve. Okay? And that's what this is all about. We never rise and fall to the level of our goals. Unsuccessful people and successful people have the exact same goals. The difference between someone who gets what they want in this world and someone who doesn't is the people who get it have just really high fucking standards. That's the only difference. So let's talk about what we can expect moving forward. So for the next 7 days, you're going to track everything that goes in your mouth as perfectly as you can. If you're not perfect, it's okay. So if you're out to dinner, just like do your best. MyFitnessPal is really good. Just kind of guess on the weight and things like that. But we're going to track everything. If you have 1 fucking Starburst, put it in there.
Okay.
Right? I know it's Halloween time and it's like I had like a little 3-pack of Whoppers. Well, that's 50 calories. So make sure you put it in there.
Right.
Okay. Denise in your office who has that candy station already lined out, if you pick at it, put it in there. Right? It's good to know. It's good to see. The whole purpose of this is so that way you create awareness around it, because learning always starts with awareness of where you're currently at. Okay. Again, if I just gave you a workout program, I just gave you a diet plan right off the rip and I'm like, hey, here's your macros, then you don't learn anything, which means you're not changing your neural pathways, which means you're not actually becoming better. You're just trying to run away from problems.
Right.
Okay. And what we're doing is we're changing the way we look at things. And when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. Okay, cool. Then you're going to drink a gallon of water a day, minimum. You're going to sleep 7 to 9 hours. Children, obviously, provided they have a good night. We had a rough night last week, man, where she was, I got like 3.5 hours of sleep. I had to sleep in a chair for a lot of hours.
Right, and it probably wasn't very much sleep, to be honest, right?
Yeah, basically I was zoning,
Yeah.
But that's dad life,
Yep.
And that's okay. If we have one night like that, it's not the end of the world. Again, we're not trying to be perfect. We're just trying to be better. Okay, cool. So we got a gallon of water. We got tracking our food. We're going to knock out those supplements. If you need to pick up any, Amazon has all of them, by the way. So you could just order it and get it all delivered to your house tomorrow. And that's really it. You're going to get workouts plugged in starting tomorrow. If you already hit the gym today and you already hit your programming, that's cool. If it conflicts with tomorrow's programming, like there's overlap, just pick another day. On Trainerize, you can move things around. We'll reset over the weekend and we'll start fresh next Monday if there's overlap on the programming. Don't do the same exercises twice. It's a waste of time.
Right.
So if you did like push today and tomorrow's push, which it probably will be, then knock out pull, or do a leg day.
Okay.
All right, cool. In terms of communication, I know that we're not doing calls or anything like that. So Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is our group coaching call. You're going to want to be on that every single week. It's this Zoom link. You'll also get a Google Calendar invite as well. That'll be slapped on your calendar. So just click yes to it and it'll always be there. And the Zoom link's always on that calendar invite. I'll also always repost it in the Telegram group. It's impossible not to know where the call's at.
Right.
Thursday, same thing, 1 o'clock. That's open office hours. You pop in, ask a question you can jet. Sometimes guys pop in, I'm in the middle of teaching a topic and it's like, oh shit, like I did like a 25-minute lesson on rate of perceived exertion this past Thursday that I wasn't planning at all. I was like using the whiteboard, I like set up everything. Like it all was great. I was like, fuck, we're gonna turn this up. So it like turned into an additional lesson. The guys that got on there were like, dude, that was fucking impactful. Because it changed the way that they thought about working out completely.
Right.
So definitely pop in if you can. If you can. I know it's like middle of the workday.
What time did you say it was?
1 p.m. on Thursdays.
Okay.
Yeah. Admittedly, sometimes, I mean, we had a 15-minute conversation, me and this guy Adam Yaws, about trucks, because I just bought a new truck last week. So, like, sometimes we're just shooting the shit, you know? So, like, pop in at, I usually say come with a question, and if you come with a question, you're always going to get some crazy value, because I can go so deep on that 1 o'clock call, because I have an hour, and I typically get anywhere between, like, 3 and 6 questions, and some of the questions are like, I'm going out to eat. What do I eat? And it's like that. All right, cool. Next question. So if you come with a good question, I can usually go really, really deep on it.
Right. Okay. Cool.
And then in other words, in terms of communication, leverage that one-to-one on the Trainerize app. Okay. My best clients treat that as a running conversation. And so like they're just sending me updates. They're talking me through things. They're asking questions on the fly. The way I have it all set up is that I do not get notifications, but I have time in my calendar where I go and I clear my inbox. And so like you could text me 6 times in a row. I don't get pinged, right? But when I look at my app, it'll be like, oh, 6 messages from him. Cool. So it only feels like 1 to me.
Right.
So you can't over communicate. In fact, I usually recommend in the first month, it should feel like you're annoying. That's how you know you're communicating enough.
Okay.
All right. Sometimes guys shy away and they're like, well, I don't want to bother them. It's like, you're all good, man. If I don't hear from you, then I start getting worried, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I saw that you already were talking to some of the guys in the Telegram group chat. That's awesome. And then last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to send you over this. Oh, never mind. Hang on one second. This is like ways that my guys win. Like my top clients, this is what they do. So they leverage the messenger, they leverage the group. There's a couple of things around like, there you go. And then ways to win with your foundation phase. I just sent it to you on Trainerize.
Yep, I just saw it come through.
Cool. Do you have a food scale?
I don't, not yet. I was going to actually ask you about that.
Yeah, grab one on Amazon, dude. Don't spend more than $10. Some of the guys get like one for home, and then they actually make these little like travel ones as well. If you do a lot of traveling for work, always a great idea. So
I do a moderate amount. It's not all the time, so
cool. Yeah, I mean, whenever I travel with one, it just makes life so easy. And it's just a way, like when I'm really in a strict cut, like right now I'm trying to grow. So like I'm like 007, man. I got a license to kill whatever I see. So as like within reason, I'm not like, shoveling candy into my mouth here, but like if I want to have an extra bagel, like party on.
Right.
But that's only for another like 8 weeks. And then after that, it's like January to June is going to be like this very methodical cut all the way down, which I cannot wait for because frankly, I'm excited about the mental clarity again. But but when I travel with that, it just makes it a whole lot easier. So, you might want to take a look at that if you are going to be traveling. Last thing I'll say is over the course of the next 7 days, you're going to track everything. Just know there's no judgment. So like if you normally do have XYZ food and you're like, well, I don't want to put this on the app because like Brian's going to take a look at it. Like I'm not going to be like, look at this guy. Just put it all in there. Okay.
Okay.
And then we're going to schedule another call in about a week or so. Based on this, it'll be probably like right before the first weekend in November. We're going to get on the phone again, and we're going to transition you into the accelerate phase. That's when we're going to like really dial in, like, this is what your program looks like in terms of food. These are the changes that I would make. Move this portion over here, increase meal frequency over here. Nothing too crazy. I like to operate where somebody's at, so it only feels like a 1% change. So that way, 1% change is compounded over time, feels like 100, you'll notice a 180-degree change in your life. We're just not trying to do that all in the next 7 days. We're doing it over the course of 6 months.
That makes sense.
Cool. Awesome. What questions do you have for me?
Well, I was going to ask about the food scale. The other thing I was going to ask, like, if there's a prepared meal that we are, and I don't mean like a processed prepared, I mean like we make these things that we call mini meatloafs, every week. They come in like a little muffin tin. How do because that's not going to just be searchable on MyFitnessPal, but it's got 3 ingredients. It's got water, it's got ground turkey, and it's got stuffing mix. So like, how do I figure that out?
Cool. Do you use the whole box of stuffing mix?
Yeah.
Cool. So then you take, you figure out the total amount of calories, carbs, fats, and protein of the stuffing mix box. So whatever one it says like number of servings in the box. So you take whatever is on the nutrition label and multiply by the number of servings. Mm-hmm. Then you do a pound of ground turkey. You figure out the calories, carbs, proteins, fats. And water has no calories. So you just mix it all together. Then divide that by how many muffins you make or meatloaf things. Which, by the way, this sounds really fucking good. So however many it is, so like that total number, you just divide. If you make 12 and it's 1,000 calories and it's, XYZ amount of protein, carbs, and fats, you just divide all those numbers by 12 and that's that. And then you can like create your own food in MyFitnessPal, so that way you only ever need to measure it once.
Okay.
You don't want to have to do that over and over and over again. So you say that as like wife's special meatloaf muffins. And then you'll do like, you add in the total. What's really cool is what I would do is I would add it all up and put it in as the meal is the total thing. Then when you actually put it on your day, you do a 1/12 option or a 1/8 option. And so that way it's like, it's always just going to be like, it's easier to interchange like 1 or 2. You don't have to go add, all right, go back to the menu, add, go back to the menu, add for 3.
Right. So say like the serving is the whole thing and then just say like I had 1/12 of it.
Yeah. So the whole food is the whole thing. And then when it comes down to servings, you'll be like, oh, I had, a third of it, if it makes 12 and you had 4.
Right.
Make sense?
That makes sense. I was going to ask you about creatine, and you answered that. What else was I going to ask? I think that was it right now.
Cool.
Oh, so you said that we're going to talk about all the macros and everything. We're going to talk about that, though, at the beginning of November, right?
Yeah, so in about 7 days. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't give macros right now because macros, I used to do preliminary macros, but then people would overcomplicate that. It's like, dude, I just want to see what you eat normally. And then
just do that.
And then no thinking, no judgment, no parameters. No, if you eat fucking 7,000 calories a day for the next 7 days in a row because that's how you normally eat, then do that. Because I want to see where you're at. I want to know what are the types of foods that he likes. How much ground beef do we already have in our diet? How much salmon do we already have in our diet? Because I'm going to make food recommendations and things like that, so you get a complete macro and micronutritional profile. But I don't want to do it in a way that's like, oh, here's this program, now change your whole life for it. It's like, okay, here's where you're at. And then by the end of the program, we're 100%. Because that's a lot easier to adhere to and stick to. And then also that compounds into my second program, Next Level Dads, which is where it becomes like a lifestyle. That's a 12-month-long program. They get additional calls. We also focus on relationships, finances, things like that. That's like my inner circle of clients. Those guys get access to retreats, all that other good shit. So,
okay.
So that's what comes after this, by the way. Like, I don't just go like, cool, man, 6 months. Like, catch you around, brother. You know, like it's all about like true transformation, true like identity change. I never don't do it. I'm locked in for life. Takes about 3 to 5 years.
Right.
This is why you know so many guys that crush it 1 year and they're like fucking like lose 50 pounds and then it's like another year goes by and they just put it all back on because you gotta be able to do it sustainably for year over year over year over year.
Yep.
So everything I do is long term. Everything, because it's never about what works. It's about what works every day.
Right. I agree. And then my last question is so what truck did you get?
I got a 2023 4Runner TRD off-road.
Nice. So you're welcome. That's who we mainly supply to is Toyota.
Let's fucking go, dude. Look at that.
Do you have a sunroof?
Hell yeah.
Then you're welcome. That's my product.
Nice. Wow. I've never felt so close to anyone in my life. Here, look, I'll show you a picture of it. Dude, this is like it's literally my dream car, bro. I've wanted this ever since Connor Nolan picked me up senior year in high school and drove me to class. And he had a 4Runner. I was like, yo, I want a fucking 4Runner. So this is, yeah, man. And I've been saving up. I've been so good, dude. I was so financially responsible for the past year so I could get this. This is the color.
Oh, that's a sick color. I love that.
Yeah, dude. The lunar rock or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bro, the lunar rock with the black wheels, there's like 3 in New Jersey. And the guy searched on the whole database. He's like, look, man, there's only 3. And I promise you, we got 2 in this week. I already sold one. So like, I'm not just saying this to like get you to sign a deal.
Gonna go.
He's like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. It'll be gone by Friday. Like I don't know what we want me to tell you. Yeah, dude. Well, so he already pre-sold the other one.
Yeah.
I bought it pre-sold. It wasn't even on the lot, dude. He was just showing me pictures.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I had a buddy that was looking at Tahoes, put a deposit on one. It wasn't coming in, so we went and put another deposit on another one, and they were like, oh, we actually sold it and we forgot. So, sorry, you're out of luck. Here's your deposit back. And then he ended up having to go. So we live in Detroit. He ended up having to go all the way to Cleveland to get this truck that he finally found that he liked. But he's happy with it. So
yeah, I drove 90 minutes for mine.
Yeah, it's insane. You can't get anything right now.
I know, because the only Toyota dealership up here, they were like the only one I wanted. Of course, they were like, "You'll get it by the end of the year." I was like, "Okay, like."
What about now?
Do we know like when that? I would have waited a couple weeks. But he was like, somewhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I'm like, all right, I'll think about it, you know. And then I drive down to Autoland down here, which is like 90 minutes away, like just to see what they had. This guy's like, hey, this is getting delivered on Thursday. We got 2 in this color with the black wheels. I already sold 1. So what do you want to do? And I was like, fuck.
Fine, let me sign.
Yeah. I was like, there goes all my negotiating power.
Yeah, nobody's got any negotiating power there right now. It's cars and real estate. It ain't happening.
No, dude, it sucks. Like, I mean, he gave me a good deal. We were only at $2,500 over MSRP, which is really nice.
That's not bad.
Yeah, he was a good dude. I lucked out because when I walked in, they had no salesman there, so it was just the manager. So he doesn't get a commission. He's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll hook you up. If I could sell everything before it gets on the lot, man, he's like, that's going to make my salesman more money when they got no inventory, so no worries.
Right.
I was like, all right, it works for me. But yeah, man, it's a dream come true, you know? Feel like fucking thank you. Feel like Walt Disney. And now I'm gonna go. I gotta hit the road here, and it's sunny, so I'm gonna go open up that sunroof, Dan, and I'm just gonna be thinking about you. I just want you to know that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Any last questions before we part ways here, bud?
Not that I can think of. I'll just keep an eye out for that workout plan and start hitting that tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be in there tonight.
Okay.
All right, bro. I'm gonna jet. By the way, 8:30 p.m. tonight, team call. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and that was in one of the emails that you had sent yesterday, right?
Yeah.
The link. Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
All right, bro.
Cool.
I'll see you later, man.
All right.
I'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's